Welcome everybody to the 29th episode of Selling Cars at Garaning Corp Garage, and today we have something very beautiful. What we have is Toyota Land Cruiser 80 series, particularly 81 HDJ 4.2 turbo diesel H series motor. Excellent engine. We'll talk about that in a few, but first thing first, we're gonna do a walk around and show you the condition of the automobile, show you how beautiful it is, how pretty it is, show you all the imperfections, and later on we'll do our usual drive-by, brake check, and a test drive on the street. So let's start with the paint combo and the paint itself. The paint on this automobile is original to the car. It has not been painted, aside from one specific spot which we will talk about later. The car absolutely rust free, as you will see in the pictures. The wheel wells look like it rolled out of the factory yesterday, or very close to yesterday. And what is got painted is the flares, because this car initially came with the color of the bumpers, this particular color. So we decided that we're going to paint the flares the same color, and I think the outcome is excellent. Overall, the color combination of the dark bronze wheels, which are, by the way, Ray's engineering wheels. These are not some Chinese knockoffs that you buy off eBay or anywhere else. Those are made in Japan wheels. It's stamped right in the back of it. So the color combo of the dark bronze wheels and this dark brown metallic, which comes all around the trim of the car, I think is beautiful. It really matches also the four-wheel drives, the door molding. So I think overall, as you're going to see in the pictures, a very, very clean look. The car is representing a classic 4x4, and the whole look of it is just very, very nostalgic. You know, it doesn't have any kind of LED this, LED that, any of the modern ugly crap. It's just a clean look with very clean wheels and the trim, and to me it's very beautiful. So let's walk around. Also, the new grille has been installed. Grills after 30 years of age are fading, no matter what they are made out of. So brand new grille installed, JDM grill. We did install it and kind of today forgot to put the diesel badge. So that badge will be on when you will buy the car. So the trim is very nice, everything's nice. Lenses, they don't have any kind of signs of sandblasting, of the road debris hitting them. They're very nice and clean. Bumper has been repainted, as I said before. New trim, new plastic trim all around. Just very, very good condition optics. Everything's very clean. The car is excellent. So obviously OEM Toyota rubber seals, since the flares had to come out. The new seals were installed. Then no dings, no dents on the car, aside from one spot, and that I will show you later. Chrome handles is a thing of a VX. For example, VX Limited, which is a VX but with a word limited, it comes slightly differently trimmed. It does not have stainless moldings like this one does, and it does not have chrome handles and chrome mirror caps. On the VX Limited, all this is blacked out or painted, and I really like this on the VX. You know, it kind of gives this very nice touch to the car, and you know, if you don't mind chrome, you will like it as well. So walking around towards the back, the car is superbly clean. The detailing alone, done by Mitch's Detailing, just the polish, the paint polish, was $500. So that gives you an idea of the more or less level what kind of product we're selling. So while we're walking around, let's talk mechanical a little bit. RedLine fluids in each hole. By that I mean power steering, rear differential, transfer case, front differential, Mobile One ATF DM, which is as close as you can get to Dextron 3. That's what this car takes, Dextron 3. You do not want to put just some ATF, because it will burn your tranny over time. They're more aggressive fluids, the newer ones. So ATF DM is Dextron 4. So this is as close as I could get. 12 quarts of new oil in the transmission. Engine OEM Toyota filter with brand new Shell Rotella in it. So all the gears and parts that are in contact of this automobile are very nicely lubed by very good oil. As you'll see in the pictures, everything is very clean. Everything's been powder coated, stainless hardware installed. This thing is new, the stopper is new, the rubber rebound piece is brand new. All the windshield wiper arms have been powder coated black, sandblasted by this great company, Glory Sandblasting here in Orlando. I really like the work they do. They really know their stuff, and they do a lot of work for many different people. Just extra clean, everything's very nice. Walking around down this way, you'll see that the car just shines. It's a reflection. Very nice. I really like the color combo. The JDM cruisers mostly come in some funky colors, or their typical bluish grayish gray, which is fine, but this particular one is just very pretty. So at least to my eye. So walking down this way, brakes are fine. Also the lower trailing arm bushings have been replaced on brand new ones. They didn't have to be replaced, but I replaced them just out of curiosity to see how it will react. Absolutely didn't get any results, but they replaced the trailing arms powder coated as well, because when the part comes off the car, G Corp, we always powder coat it and put it back. So that's about it, really. I really like the interior and the material, this velour, and you just can see how pretty it is. It just follows the hand. It's not dirty. Probably 99.9% of cars that are even a couple years old will have all kinds of dirt in here, staining, coffee spots, just you name it, right? So I'll be frank. This interior, we did not have to do pretty much anything to it. It's just came in from very good hands. The seat is very firm. It is not sagging. The foam in the seat is very firm. When you sit in it, you immediately feel how nicely it supports you, how nicely it supports your back and your bottom. A couple of adjustments, it goes up and down, and also the bolsters hug your body. There is an adjustment for that as well, but the material itself, the velour, is very noble. You can say that, very noble. It's just beautiful and warming, very warming. And when you sit in it, it really hugs you. It's like almost you sit in the it hugs you very well. For example, my buddy had a IS 250 once, and that car has one of the worst seats probably ever made in the auto industry. Complete opposite from what that seat is, and that is some 20 years later Lexus, for example. Nice solid door closure, clean door jambs. Let's talk about the another important thing, the it has seat heaters, which work both positions, low and high. Even in Florida, there are those couple of days when you wish that you have them. For example, sunroof, which is working, I don't really personally care about, but it's also nice to have. But I'd rather take seat heaters than sunroof, for example. There are those couple of days that make you regret that decision that you have the car without the seat heaters. So 204,000 kilometers come out to be something like 130-40,000 miles. On this car it's nothing. As again I said, changed all the fluids. The car runs absolutely perfect. No vibration, no pulsation, no noises. Just a very nice solid cruiser. Tranny shit's very smooth. If some of you guys know, Land Cruiser tranny kind of has a hard shift from first to second more or less over time. This one's just nice, just very smooth everything. So another thing that I would like to add, that the buyer will be provided the records from the first owner to the last owner of this automobile, basically from the date of sale, showing and indicating the mileage that will be provided. All those records will be provided to the buyer, verifying and proving that the car has original mileage. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's underneath the hood. Again, imperfections. So when it comes to this car, there's just a couple of stone chips on the hood. Talking about ding, there's a little ding right here, just a tiny little one. You can barely see it, but my guy who does my dents just couldn't get to it. You know, he cannot get his tools to it. We have to take the fender apart and all that, and we can't do anything. And I didn't want to paint the car just because of this tiny little ding. It doesn't have any paint damage. It's just a little ding there, but that's for your note. All right, so as you can see, the gas strut supports the hood nicely. What we have here is a very nice, very clean H series turbo diesel. Runs clean, doesn't smoke, pulls well. 2 new Hitachi batteries. Air conditioning is very cold on this car. It's been converted already prior to R134 gas. Also, the timing belt's been changed about 3,000 miles ago or so. The only thing we didn't do on this car is we didn't flush the brake fluid, which we will. Just kind of remembered about that. It will be flushed before we'll deliver the car to the owner. So new diesel filter, just a clean running car. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and crank up the engine, and we'll show you how it sounds and how it starts. One, two, three. So cranks up just like that, very easy, smooth running, doesn't have any noises, any knocks, obviously. Just everything about it is clean. As you can see, it doesn't have any kind of shining in the engine bay. Just a clean, natural shine. All the insulation on the walls all around the engine bay is intact. It's not torn. Let's go ahead and give it some revs. So, and that is pretty much all there is underneath the hood. As you can see, insulation on the hood everywhere else. Struts support the hood. Everything is nice and where it should be. Also, the vehicle is equipped with new exhaust. all the way from flange down, turbo flange all the way down. It's a duals. This particular utilizes 28-inch length resonator, and it's very, very nice. Does not make almost any noise that comes on the inside, and makes pretty good noise when it comes to the outside, and we're going to go ahead and show you how it sounds. So as you can see, it sounds very good. It's not obnoxiously loud, but it's got its nice tone to it. I really like it. Another thing, the rear tint, the car was tinted, so we removed the tint. The rear tint we didn't touch because it's got the lines for the rear heater. That's up for a new owner to decide the ways and how they're gonna do it and all that. So just in case, the rear heater works, and if you decide to keep it, keep it. If you decide to remove it, remove it. But I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to make any kind of damage to the rear heating element. So again, the spare tire, when it comes to the back, you'll see in the pictures, it is actually a new tire. This is original rubber that came on this car initially, and this car had this particular spare. So this is it never been used. So this spare tire never been used, and it's not dry rot. You can see that it's old, but it's got all the factory lines and everything, and the hair. This is original. I think Bridgestone Desert Dueler. That's the tire that was installed. So. It is new. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and give it our usual test drive, which will consist out of 3 parts: drive-by, brake check, and the test drive on the street. And pretty much it. I think we covered everything that needed to be covered, and so to say, the photos speak 1,000 words. All this car needs is a new proud owner. As you can see, it accelerates fairly well. Let me just take this key out because the chime is extremely annoying. Brakes are very good. They're definitely bedded in after this type of braking. Discs are very fresh on this car. They don't have any grooves or any of that. Everything's been checked, front, back. Another key difference between, let's say, US spec and JDM spec is that not only the front brakes were bigger in the before the restyle, let's say in the 92, which is this car, but also the JDM had the rear disc brakes as well, where United States version had just drums. Very nice car, rides very good, very quiet, everything's nice, no corrosion, no rust, no indication of any of that crap. Just super clean, very nice car. All the electrics work, all the windows work. If your window does get broken down after you buy it, it's totally on you. This car at the end of the day is 26-7 years old. So just a very nice car, beautiful color combo, and again, all it needs is a new plow. Alright, so let's make sure bolster is adjusted. Turn the key, annoying chime, half a crank, and off she runs. Let's compare this car to its analogs, or competition, let's say, back in the 90s, or particularly in 92. When it comes to interior, we're not going to go into technical details. Specifically, we can Nissan didn't have much to offer. It's headed Patrol. I mean, Patrol is pretty horrible on the interior. I mean, it shines in other ways, but the 80 series is considered to be the best combination in the world, right, till present day, of off-road ability and comfort. Those two combined have not been achieved any better than it was in the 80 series, and reliability, of course. So what we do is just we press auto, AC kicks in automatically, RPM rises because you got a vacuum compensator, and we just tune it down a little bit, and AC is nice and cold. It's start coming right out you. So Mercedes Geländewagen did not have something like this to offer you. Yeah, you do get a square body and an upright truck seating position, but it didn't have something like that. How about some shocks that stiffen up when you press the sport button, and they actually work very nicely. And on this particular car, they're not worn. Most of them are worn. Most of them don't even work. Most of the 80 series Land Cruisers, if they have stock shocks, they just bounce around. These are very nice from normal to sport mode. You can switch normal or you can switch sport. I like to drive it in sport. Something like that is right unheard of. 4x4 we're talking about here. Well, automatic roof and all that, and Geländewagen didn't even offer that when it comes to convenience, right? You couldn't just press the button and the thing just come right back. So when it comes to 4x4 in the 1990 and comfort, this was the car, right? I mean, yeah, it has its downsides, like it's, let's say, it's not even close on rigidity, its structural rigidity and all-weather durability when it comes to G-Wagon. But again, that's a military automobile built by hand. This is a mass production. But overall, another thing I'd like to point out is getting very cold already. So let me just kind of guide it towards my feet, and off it goes. I don't have to do any kind of knob, switching, turning, levers, just automatic, and I just set the temperature. So the radio, it worked. It's got some CD changer in the back. I used to get all debative about should we leave it, should we change it, but everyone has own tastes when it comes to music and the radio, and it worked for a little bit and then it just turned off, right? So I checked the fuses and all that, and everything is in order. So the radio that comes in this car is there, but it doesn't work. But it did work. It did work. So as the power antenna, for example, right? The Landewagen didn't offer that either. So that's down, that's up. So here it comes, and here it comes down. Simple as that. So very nice warming interior. We need to note that the dash is not being shined by some monkey shine. You know, I call it monkey shine. It hasn't been shined. You don't see any grease monkey shine on the steering wheel. You don't see it on the door cards. Everything has the matte finish. The finish that was given to this car from the factory. So what we're going to do is just put it in drive. In town I usually drive in 3, just because it really likes to go into overdrive at slow speeds. And off we go. We're going to give a little bit of highway run on this car and show you how it performs. Nice exhaust note. The thing about nice exhausts is that your MPG goes down because you want to hear it often. The more you want to hear it, the more you step on the throttle pedal. But truly an iconic car. Growing up back in Russia in the 90s. I remember back in the 1990 actually. There were no foreign cars in the city where I was from. Just crap that was done by Soviets, which was horrible. And I remember somewhere around mid-90s to let's say 98, somewhere in that range. These guys start to arrive from United States in the form of a Lexus, and from Europe in form of a Land Cruiser. I remember the first time I saw LX 450, just like my jaw dropped, right? So you come from poor Russian POS automotive industry and something like this shows up. It was unimaginable, and it was unimaginable to see. I just can't imagine what was the sensation of it, driving this type of automobile in the 90s when everything else is just, let's say, we'll call it self-propelled vehicles. You know, you cannot really call a Russian car an automobile. It's just I do not, you can't. It's a self-propelled four-wheeled thing. But from that to this, it's just beyond imagination. With the climate control, imagine that, right? So boom, automatic. Keeps very cool air. Tranny shifts very well. All the stickers are present, stating you that high, low, overheat, auto, all that. So what else? We have power mirrors, left and right, which is a convenience as well. You don't have to reach for levers. For example, let's take Mercedes E-Class, right? Which was a big deal. Let's say 300E. It wasn't an E-Class, it was 300 series, but it evolved into E-Class. Even in a very pretty much top version, well, not pretty much, in a very top fully loaded version, it had one manual mirror, one automatic. So there you go, full manual, and they fold as well. These are foldable mirrors. So you press the button and then boom, off they go. Just we're cruising with 70 kilometers an hour, doing some 1500 RPM. This car has no problem keeping up in traffic. Neither it struggles on the highway. Just very, very nice, comfy ride. Definitely a head turner, especially among the car guys. Something like this, something this clean. When it rolls in, people do gather and admire it. The best part about it, as I said already, it's 26-year-old car, 26-year-old car, and it gives you a comfort of a 6-year-old car. You know, it drives. Well, let's say compared to Dodge Ram, I think it has better steering for sure. Being that it's a full solid axle front and back, I think it steers better. It's just a quick comparison to 2006 Dodge Ram of my buddy. So that alone already, you know, years, a decade in difference. So very nice materials. I think lately, let's say Land Cruiser 200 is a cheaper version of this if you prorate the age. By that I mean the Japanese really tried to do everything out of best what they had, you know, and it doesn't necessarily mean just throwing some cheap leather in the car, but the material of the dash, the material of the doors, everything's soft, the velour, you know, it's nice and rich, so to say. Everything flat made plastics, and you know, it's really nice. When you see them, let's say a newer 200 Land Cruiser, not maybe the latest one, but anyway, even the latest one, the first thing that immediately kind of throws you off is the cheap fake aqua print wood, right? So you pay $80,000, right, or a little more for a car, and it's got cheap fake aqua print. It's not even a veneer, which is quite cheap in its nature anyway. So yeah, so you know, that attempt of a fake luxury for $85,000 is kind of immediate down for me when you're looking to spend, let's say, or buy a 4x4 or anything. You know, you just look at the cheap fake wood and you're like, yeah, right, for that much money. So they guess they didn't put any cheap fake wood in this car because they didn't have to. It looks excellent just the way it is. It's, note the dash, right? It's kind of very very sporty oriented, right? It directs everything to the driver. So you're the driver, right? You're in control, and everything is at your disposal. Your radio, your climate control, your gear controls, your fog lights, headlights, washers, and your mirrors, everything right here, right? Passenger is left alone. Passenger in the car is just the passenger. So you're the guy in charge. You're the one that everything's directed for you. So it's kind of a sport car-like feel, right? Wouldn't you agree? Maybe a Celica Supra has the dash that is kind of right angle right at it. So it's not sharing. It immediately tells you that the design and the idea of this car was, you know, more or less driver oriented. There it is, right? It's fine. We got about 5-6 miles to go. We're gonna cut the video off just because I cannot talk forever when it comes to, I mean, I can, but I'm just not else. Well, again, so let's describe the upholsteries, right? The carpets are excellent in this car, and even original 25-year-old mats. The driver mat has barely any heel wear, right? Barely. And and that's for the car that's 25 years old. It's aligned, it tracks very well, brakes work very well. Again, as I will say, we will flush them. It's not a big deal, we'll flush them for the customer, because I don't know when they were flushed, and you need to flush them. Most people think that they don't, but if you've seen a brake fluid that is 5 years old, it literally looks like your used motor oil. So that type of gunk is floating around in your brake lines. So you got to change it once, or once per year, or once couple of years. Once couple of years is fine. Every lights, every gauge, everything works. Rear defroster work. So does the CD changer, at least it used to until the radio cut off. Maybe it's a fuse that blew out. But anyway, everybody, I personally like classic radios. I like older school radios, because the new radios are just crap. All they offer is a Bluetooth and some cheap touchscreen. If it was my car, I would probably use a Bluetooth adapter somewhere on the amplifier where I can run directly into an amp. And I will use just a made in Japan, very nice head unit, not this Kenwood Chinese crap, but Kenwood that was made in the 90s, made in Japan, maybe with a cassette and all that. But if you have your Bluetooth at the amp, and by that I mean taking all the interior out, putting some real good speakers, putting some real good wires, putting a good amp, hiding it all right properly, insulating the bottom of the car, dynamiting it, and putting it all back together, and off you go, your beautiful sound system. So rides on brand new 33-inch Beef Goodrich tires. I really like them. I really like how quiet they are. They drive just like your regular old Michelin's street tires. They make absolutely no noise. Absolutely no noise. They're very comfortable. I find them a perfect tire for street and light off-road use, and the looks. Absolutely no noise. As you can hear, I'm not shouting at you, I'm not screaming. We're cruising along. We don't have any wind. It's got a very good stability and tracking when it comes to riding on the highway. Right now we're probably going to have to go into the left lane. Excellent, excellent noise absorption. Those tires rock. I really like them. And again, you get, the thing is, when people say you get what you pay for, applies in life 100%. When it comes to everything, you try to cheap out on something, it's always going to be not as good as the stuff that was a little bit more. Even when it comes to labor, to manufacturing, to paint job, everything. Powder coating too. You're gonna cheap out on powder coating, your powder coat looks like crap. So you want to get real nice A-grade powder coating, prepare to pay. Of course, everything has its limits. There are Land Cruisers you can spend 100 grand on, but we're not targeting those guys, maybe at least now, but we're targeting individuals who wants to have something very nice, authentic, presentable, whether they want to show the car or they want to daily drive it, right? For example, I'm driving in this car next to that Hyundai, right? And that is just POS next to this, right? So you really feel proud of your car. This is an automobile that you want to be proud of. This was the best in the world, right? The best in the world, right? The best that came out of Japan, right? The guys that think about it very hard how to make it the best and make it cheaper than let's say a Gelandewagen, right? So this is the Land Cruiser, the best of the best. So when it comes to merging comfort and off-road ability, you can ride this car anywhere right now in this condition, as long as you don't go in extreme off-road. You want to ride to Alaska somewhere, go ahead. Seats is
very comfortable. It supports you really well. You have absolutely zero slide in this thing, right? No matter how hard you try, you don't slide. It just grabs you, right? Grabs your clothing, grabs your legs, everything. On leather you slide. On this you don't. So I really, really like the interior. There's been traffic here. The tranny is very strong, very durable on the Land Cruiser, but it's very slow. So if you want to downshift, just go into third on its own. That makes it a little easier. Something like 55 miles an hour. Just downtown highway driving, very easy. Rides through the bumps nicely. We're gonna go in the norm mode, just soften it up because the road's crappy. Instant response from the shock absorbers, just makes it nice and plush. In the sport mode, it becomes pretty bumpy. So there we go. Another thing to note: there is a little stone chip. It's not really a crack, you know. It's not a star, but it is some kind of a stone chip, and that it is there, you know. It's in the windshield. So if you live in Florida, they replace it for free. But it's original windshield to the car. It says Toyota and all that right on it. So whenever you have damage, you can replace it. But it's something we have to know. This got a little stone chip. It's not a star, so we'll go with the stone chip, right? Larger tires are famous for not being, so to say, completely square. By that I mean totally round. So larger than 33. So if you go and they start vibrating a little bit, pulsating in your wheel. In this particular setup, we don't have any vibration or pulsation. Either, of course, not from a mechanical standpoint of view, but from the tires as well. Sometimes, even that they balance out, it's just a large tire, you know, it gives you just this kind of light feel, slight pulsation like this in your steering wheel. And as you can see, we don't have none of that. It's aligned well, it tracks very well, it doesn't move. Very quiet, very comfortable and pleasant place to be in. Very nice, suspension works well. What else? I like the 100 series Land Cruiser, but honestly only 105 really. If I'm choosing between 80 and 100, I'd definitely go with 80. 100 to me just looks like a Winnie Pooh, you know, like a Winnie Pooh. Especially those Winnie Pooh rear lights. The Lexus is, I mean, every to each liking, but the 80s has this real nice, mean 60s Land Cruiser DNA. Especially if you install a Bad Boy kit. You can see we sell it on the website as well. If you install one of those on the 80 series Land Cruiser, it becomes bad to the bone. We're about to exit off the highway, so I think we're going to go ahead and finish with our review of this beautiful 80 series Land Cruiser. And one more time, all this car needs is a new proud owner.